because it makes me wonder. I'm like, did you really think you're gonna come out of this season looking like the stars, or like kind of looking at the ones vindicated? Because you just look mean.
Hi, friend.
Hi, everyone.
Listen.
I'm listening.
I am glowing. I just finished watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17 reunion part 2.
That was wild shit.
My jaw was on the floor the whole time. It was so good. It was
because it didn't let up. It didn't let up one bit. There was not one lull in that whole reunion.
Because I was exhausted watching it, but also I was like, oh my god. Okay, where do you want to start?
I have no idea. I was actually trying to think about this. I was like, okay. What am I overanalyzing?
Let's start with Pinky and Kelli, because we've been saying all season we're waiting for Pinky to find out that Kelli was the one that said that she...
You know what? You're right.
And you know what you said? She's going to find out. She's not going to do anything.
I was correct. I was correct. And that actually really upset me. And then they apologized to her. So, okay, yeah. So going back, early on in the season, Pinky and Phaedra, they had a little conflict because Pinky assumed, I guess, based upon the lies of Kelli and Shamia, that Phaedra insinuated that she eats meat, when she actually never once, those words never came out of her mouth, which we saw as viewers. But for some reason, Pinky just didn't buy it, that Phaedra could possibly tell the truth here. Well, now we have since learned, finally, the truth has prevailed. And yeah, I was really irritated, and I'm not sure exactly. I guess maybe I'm trying really hard to read in between the lines here, because the two girls apologized to Pinky, and then Phaedra was like, okay, that's all well and good, but like, she still hasn't apologized to me. And Pinky's like, well, I'm not gonna, because this is where I was trying to like, okay, what are they referring to? Of like, Phaedra felt maybe to some extent that Pinky was a threat, but not. I think two things I'm confused about. One, what is the threat? Is it like weapons? Is that what they're insinuating? And then two, Pinky said, because you try to call the higher ups on me. And Phaedra's like, well, tell them why. But then they kind of twisted at the end when Andy's like, if she really wanted to, she could have called me and called New York. So I'm like, okay, so did she not actually call them? And that was also fabricated by Pinky? I'm so confused on both those fronts.
In my mind, something happened. Phaedra pulled her aside and was like, blah, 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 blah. If you don't take care of it, I'm going to tell people.
Mm-hmm.
And Pinky found some way to do it. I don't think she actually called the higher-ups. I think it was a threat that she was going to call the higher-ups on something.
Okay.
Now, we don't know. Because you've also said, and this is why I love overanalyzing these shows, because this season you have said, I thought they know each other. Phaedra is a well-known attorney. Mm-hmm. I thought they knew each other, and Pinky does admit that they've had dealings together. Maybe she wasn't a client, but they have been in circles. They know each other.
Yep.
So basically, Pinky came on the show. She was acting like everything was lovable and wonderful and great, and look at me, I'm the business owner. And I think if there was any kind of a competition, it's because Phaedra and Pinky are business owners, like with brick and mortars. Because I think Pinky says that no one on that couch has a brick and mortar, and I was like,
I think Kelli said that.
Okay, but I'm like, she has a funeral home that has to be brick and mortar. She has a law
firm, yeah.
Because I'm like, everyone there has businesses, but no, she literally has. So I did not care for Pinky being so defensive. She was defensive the whole.
Oh my god, the whole
time.
thing.
Everyone called her on her shit, but it didn't go anywhere because she was so defensive. She wasn't hearing anything. And that part was not enjoyable to watch. But I did enjoy the fact that they called her out on all of this stuff. I mean, she still talks about it flippantly. And Cynthia wrapped it up perfectly where she was like, the thing is, you came on here and acted like you were all good. And then we found out you weren't all good. And we're just like, you didn't have to present like it was all good if you weren't all good.
Yeah.
Just present who you are. So
she was really, I agree with you. And if there's anything to overanalyze, that was definitely on my list of like, her segment, you're totally right. She was on the defensive on everything. And there was a part of me that wanted to be like, is there any sense of you, Pinky, that can like step outside of yourself and you hear these girls saying all those things, right? Bankruptcy is a resource. And I don't think you should just use it just because it exists. And I know you have to qualify. So it's not like anyone can just get one, which I actually thought for a really long time. I'm like, okay, well, I would jokingly say, like, we always talk about finances. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll fall for bankruptcy. And I mean, I say it as a joke. I'm like, because I know that I'm not going to. But A, it's because A, I don't want to, but B, it's I have since learned that you can't just walk into a courthouse or whatever and be like, okay, well, I got no money, I need to file for bankruptcy. It's like you have to qualify. So with that being said, I also was irritated with her nonchalant attitude still, which I guess it didn't really bother me as much as I thought it did earlier in the season when she was talking about it as much. I was annoyed because I didn't want to hear about it at all anymore because it was like every episode I'm like, okay, we get it. I also didn't like it. And Phaedra made a really valid point that I'm surprised that she shot down, and I can sort of see her perspective, but also not really, when she Phaedra said something along the lines of you had a lot of black investors and you lost their money. And she's like, well, and her response to that was like, well, I also had a lot of white ones too. And I think Phaedra's point furthermore broader was like, and then I think Portia also tried to chime in too. They were trying to say like, listen, what doesn't matter who the background of said individual, people put their money into you, and you keep talking bankruptcy like, I'm going to file this, and then they're coming after me, I'm going to file. And it's like, yeah, but there's no pride in it when you lost other people's money. That's essentially what you're doing. You lost their money that they won't. I'm assuming they don't get that back in any kind of way unless there's like a lawsuit or something. But
there's different rankings. Like we take a class called Secure Devices when you're in law school, and it's like based on what's in your loan, some people get paid back first. Like a mortgage or something, those people get paid back first. What Pinky was saying about how she had some stuff with like personal issues where she wouldn't take Derek's money because she was like, oh, that was personal or something. That's where you get into it all, but
which doesn't make sense to me either.
It still doesn't, but K. Michelle tried to help, but it also made it worse because she was like, I have sat up with her all night crying and upset. That can be fine. You never showed us any remorse. To us, it felt like,
we didn't see that.
Money, good luck. And that's the part that everybody was like, no, but like, did you care? That's the part that you did not see. You came off as like, well, it's part of business, or.
And she literally said that. She's like, well, no, they're going to, all these companies, and I think she went and started naming all these like big companies. And it was like, okay, well, two things here. And I'm not saying this is pro bankruptcy or anything, but I'm sure that these large companies that she was like listing, Heinz and all that, they probably do use it as a quote unquote tool. I don't know what that means when they make like millions and billions of dollars a year, that they're losing necessarily people's money. Those are well-established.
Those are public companies. It's not the same.
Yeah, and then they're part of American life, global life, really. So it's different.
It's like Coca-Cola filing for bankruptcy. There's not one person crying.
Right. You don't have like people in their homes going, well, I put my money into it, I just lost it all. But to that point, I agree with you of like K. Michelle saying like we cry. I was like, well, we didn't see the crying. We didn't see you on here going, we saw you cry with your fucking lawyer that one day. But it wasn't really like, it was more, if I remember correctly.
It was the mayor's crying.
Exactly. It wasn't like. And I'm sure she said, and then I think one of her follow-ups was something along the lines of, listen, there's a lot that she hasn't said because she's basically insinuating that she's taking the fall for a lot of other people or whatever. And I'm like, okay, you should have led with that to some extent, whatever you can say, I guess, without, I guess, harming the people that you're trying to protect. I mean, if it was me, if that's the case, because it's coming across like they kind of wronged you in return or something. So it's like, I would put that shit out there. You put everything else out there, then it's not like you're protecting good people then. At least maybe they are. I don't know. The other thing is, which is I think everyone's point, was that you lacked total emotion in terms of what this does in a broader view. It just, you come in, talking a big game like you're some bad bitch. And I'm not saying you ain't. but you're being flippant about all these other financial things as if you're, Bill Gates or something. You ain't Beyonce, you're not Rihanna, you don't own Fenty. And I say this with due respect, so don't come at me in the comments, but you ain't got like Rihanna money and Rihanna status in terms of like Fenty and all this stuff. Like, so don't come in here like you're that girl. You are accomplished, don't get me wrong, and you've done things. I'm not taking away her accolades. But let's call a spade here. I would never walk in, even if I created something, and a version of this happened to me. I'm going to come in with my tail between my legs a little bit and having some humility versus me coming in like I'm going to knock down doors. Because she came off this reunion, in my view, even worse. I'm like, I don't know if I'm a fan of yours, actually, because you just seem so tone deaf. Absolutely not. And I'm like, I was going to go, like, they're opening Slutty Vegan here in Columbus. And I'm like, that's so exciting. And I'm like, bitch, I don't know if I want to support your business now. Because I'm like, if that's kind of your MO, then I don't want to give that we're at a time where, as consumers, our power is in our dollar. So I'm like, I'm being conscious with my money because I don't have a lot of it. But I'm like, if I'm going to spend it, it's not worth someone who kind of acts like that. I'm not going to spend my money with your business. So...
No.
I don't know.
It was weird.
It was very
almost
odd.
Like, I mean, if you were reading a book, she would be the unsympathetic character. Like, you did everything in the world to not get any sympathy, but then you're also like, oh, but I'm here, but care about me too. And it's like, it's kind of not working. And even to the point where they talk about her show. And she says, picked up by a major network, and they're like, oh my god, congratulations.
I bet you it's like Tubi or Roku or something. Like, girl, it ain't NBC.
Well, then don't say
I agree.
Anything. Like, you're still doing the same thing where you're like, look at me.
I would have just said, you know what? We're having some really good conversations. That's all I could say. That's what I would have left it. I'm not going to be like, network this, that. Until, to use her words, until that ink is dry and there's a deal and there's a check in the mail, I probably wouldn't say it because that's how you're totally right. That is how you create this illusion of like, look what I'm doing. And then a week later, for all we know, we could read that like whatever network, Amazon Prime, whatever, backed out. And they're like, no, we don't want to do this anymore. And it's like, okay, so you, yet again... You ain't that bad bitch that you're trying to portray. You're not the baddest bitch in the room. You might be a bad bitch, but you're not the baddest one in the room.
As she said it, I'm Googling like, oh my god, ink's not dry. Girl, stop it.
And you know what? To that point, too, what wouldn't surprise me, and God forgive me, I'm sorry, because I want all these women to win, so please don't get it twisted. Even the conversation between her and Drew, and even, because I went back and forth with her, like when Drew went to the casting call and all that. I went back and forth. I'm like, okay, Drew's being a little shady, whatever, but not a big deal. And after watching this, I'm like, no, I actually 100% get where she's coming from. First of all, the cattle call comment is, we have learned, is actually, Andy confirmed, he's like, no, that's like a term that people use in acting, like that's a thing, so you can't get offended with that. And second of all, Drew made a point. She's like, listen, I'm a part of a union. There's a protocol. You want me. You don't just send me an email with a script. And then she even doubled down, Pinky, and was like, yeah, I mean, I emailed it to you. I was like, I didn't care or something. She's like, I just said it to you. And it's just like, so you don't even know how this works, which is weird because she claims to be this ultra successful producer. I'm like, okay, you're on Maury. Iconic, do not get me wrong, but you're not like Shonda Rhimes.
She knows there's a process.
She knows there's exactly. So it's either she knows there's a process, and she doesn't care, or she truly didn't know, and still does not care. And I'm like, those are not, that's not good energy going into signing the paperwork for a network if you don't even know how to simply how do you get legitimate actors to be a part of your project? So.
The energy she's giving is like when a guy is catcalling you, and then you're like, no, thank you. You were ugly anyway.
Exactly. Oh my God, yes.
Talk to me. And that's the energy. Oh, I have this thing coming. Come to my show. Oh, you're not coming? I didn't want you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Girl.
Yeah, you're a bad actress anyways. It's like, come on.
We know you're pressed.
And I will say, too, looking out broader, and I'm not putting K. Michelle into this, that couch is annoying me the whole this whole reunion so far.
Because they're not feeling it like the other one.
No, well, I forgot who said it. I think Drew, I think Portia, I think actually everyone had said it on the other couch, the fun couch. Like, there's no accountability on that couch at all. Kelli is just yapping away, and if I have to see her one more time just yell just nonsense, I'm gonna bash my head against the wall. She makes no sense. I'm like, girl, your restaurant was shut down. You were kicked out of your other home. You had to rent Shamia's house. I really don't know what the truth is with whatever your living situation is now, nor do I really care, but I'm watching the show, so I'm talking about it. And you keep throwing these, like, daggers as if you have a pot to piss in. I don't know if you saw this, but she got roasted online by fans because she did an interview with Carlos King, who was a former producer of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And she said she brought, like, high fashion to the show. And it's like, bitch, you have watched the show in the past. I know you have. You
Even
did
Marlo.
not.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, give me a break. Like, she is so. She's not delusional. She's just. She's a dingbat. You are 3'2" and have big tits and a big mouth, and you want so bad to have the love and admiration that I think that we see Portia get, Phaedra get, Angela get, Drew's getting. You want that so bad. And she's doing that thing that we see these days of people who are like villains, if you will. And instead of, we know what you can do if you want to be loved and adored by, like, say, fans. I'm not saying you should, like, you shouldn't maneuver through these kind of shows for the fans. Let me be clear on that. But I think she cares. And you could have easily turned this around. That's like a lot of villains do. Instead of, like, doubling down on your really small base of, yap dogs, if you were just kind of cool for a second, be like, I was a fucking bitch. I like you, this, that. My restaurant was shut down. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know what's going on. People would love you. But instead, what she is doing, and we saw it when K. Michelle and Shamir were going at it, and she thought she was going to have a moment, like, I just want to say this. Kay, I'm sorry that you went through all this, blah, 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 but do not let that couch over there influence you. And I was just like, shut up. You wish you could be on that couch and cool with those girls. Those are the fun girls of this show. I'm going to put K. Michelle into that because I do like her and I do think she has fun and she wants to be friends with them. She is just like she is just like this whiny, big mouth person that needs to get her word in, but her words don't make fucking sense. And I'm just so sick of it. She was so intolerable in this whole, so far in both part 1 and 2.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though. If I had to trade places between Pinky and Kelli, I would choose Kelli. Because there was a time when I was like, is Pinky still there? It was literally just the three of them. It would be this whole couch or the three of them. And I was like, oh, I would feel sad. Because she got no screen time. But that's probably the reason why she was at the end of the seating chart, right?
I would take Pinky any day over Kelli. I'm like, I can't stand it. I cannot stand her. Again, she thinks that she's that girl. And she's not.
What about part 1 ended with Shamia and Kelli, K. Michelle talking about their stuff, and apparently rumors and Mean Girls of Atlanta and all this stuff. So it picked up with that. Yep. And Shamia's getting into this whole conversation, and then she's like, why am I so upset? Someone else was there.
Kelli, of course.
You've been sitting here this the whole time, quiet as a church mouse. I was so surprised by that. How do you feel about that? I don't know how I feel, because we didn't get a resolution, because then it spun out with Shamia's mom being out with them at the club, and someone calling Portia Jezebel. And I'm just
I mean, I just rolled my eyes, because I'm like, you think, if this is the court of public opinion here, you think that your source of truth is Kelli? If she said, who, there was somebody else there, who it was. If she said Pinky, I would have been like, okay, I'm listening. Kelli, we all, very predictable. What is she going to do? Exactly what she did. And not only did she kind of deflect and kind of beat around the bush, But that is the moment that she, instead of, trying to either tell the full truth, which I think she was dancing around, she had to have Shimia's back. And by doing that, she also clearly likes K. Michelle. So instead of, letting down Shimia and maybe telling the full truth or being just very, blunt about it, she had to use that opportunity to be like, Kay, but the girl, like, that couch is filling your head with, like, lies or whatever she said. I'm like, you are so delusional, girl. So this was not like some smoking gun witness that Shimia had. It fell so flat for me because I knew, okay, we know where this is going to go.
I kind of, throughout the season, I felt sad for Shimia because I thought she was hurt. And at this whole reunion, I'm just like, no, it was a show. It was a show. It was a show.
She's taking no accountability either.
I think this is the real Shimia. In people's faces, pointing fingers. I think I feel like Shimia and Kelly talk shit about everyone, and then they want you to be like, but it was a joke. And it's like, yeah, but you were actually talking shit about some real stuff. Just because you laugh throughout it does not make it a joke, right? And so I kind of, I was looking at this even from part 1, and I was like, damn, Shimia, I think you are the mean girl in Atlanta. Like, it changed everything for me.
I think she's trying hard to... She's not doing it very well. I think she's trying really hard to somehow deflect, to not have that reputation on the show of, like, she is. And I think that's what if I'm taking a step back and looking at broader, it's becoming more and more obvious, like, at least Shimia and Kelly are really kind of the mean girls of this show. Even when dating back, and I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about it in part 3. I saw a preview already, or watch a little clip of like a sneak peek. Going back to when they were in Dallas, and they would not let up about the so-called dirty room. And again, they didn't show it in this reunion, but I watched a sneak peek of part 3, and they're discussing it, and and Cynthia makes a really valid point. She's like, listen, I walked around the whole property with all you girls, and not once did anyone say, this is dirty, blah, blah, blah. But the moment that you all said something, I acted quickly. And you all couldn't even come to fucking dinner with us. You had to sit by the pool. And they're like, well, we couldn't get ready, shower, blah, blah, blah. And we're on camera. They're like, bitch, you were on camera too, by the pool. What are you talking about? So those two girls, I don't know, like, when going into this season, and especially into the reunion, I'm not sure what objective they had or what their game plan was, if they had one. Because it makes me wonder, I'm like, did you really think you're going to come out of this season looking like the stars, or like kind of looking at the ones vindicated? Because you just look mean. You just look mean. Yeah. You look nasty. You don't look like you're enjoying it. The other couch, all those ladies, and I'm going to put K. Michelle into that, even through the ups and the downs and the challenging moments and the fights, they are still kikiing, having fun. We saw them laugh so many times as a group, way more throughout the season than those other 3 ladies. Yeah, they all look like sticks in the mud, while the other girls are partying up, having fun, have their own conflict, but able to, like, move past it, whatever. They are just, I don't know what their objective was, but I think it turned so sideways for them. They could have easily just, like, figured out a path forward, and they chose not to.
Yeah. I don't know why. You saying that made me think about 2 mean girls. K. Michelle is grouped in with the fun girls. Pinky's on an island. You think Pinky wants to come back next season, or she'll use a newborn as her excuse to not?
No, I think No, of course she needs to come back because she's promoting her business. So I think she uses that. Like, I don't think she has much of it. I don't think she's passionate about the show because of the show. I think she's like, I have a business. I mean, I need to make money. This is a good way to. I seen how other girls can, build up their portfolio. I'm going to do that on here too. So she's absolutely going to come. I believe she wants to come back for that reason. I don't think she wants to come back because she just loves filming with these ladies. But that being said, I'm assuming, because it sounds like they're all coming back next season, which I'm kind of surprised about.
Why? Who did you think might leave?
Well, I thought Shamia for sure was pop. I'm gonna say this too. I'm dogging on her a lot, rightfully so, in my opinion. I still want her on the show for the most part because I think she's a good housewife. Otherwise, I doesn't mean I gotta like her or be a fan of her, but I do like her for the show. Kelly, I'm like, I don't want her back at all. I am so. I don't know what purpose you serve besides like she's always yelling and just like she's just annoying and she's very pompous and I'm like it's not fun to watch. It's actually really annoying because it doesn't really matter.
So what would Kelly do on the show? Because the one restaurant is closed. Would she be trying to open another one?
Probably.
Or and would Shamia have to apologize? Because she wouldn't be able to have one-on-ones with almost anyone.
Yeah, she would. If she's to come back next season. So here's the thing: there was rumors for like a while, somewhat recently-ish, and unfortunately, Andy denounced them. Doesn't necessarily mean I does not mean to me as a longtime viewer of this show. Does not mean it's out of the question, or it could maybe be some sort of like deflection. Who knows? But there was a rumor for a few weeks. That Nene would be finally coming back and Shamia would be gone. And I was hoping that was true because I'm like, because I've said this a few times. She will be appearing. She has already appeared on the first episode of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. And she'll be even more on when they go to the Atlanta stop of the show. And I just assumed / hoped that I'm like, okay, she's good with Bravo again. She's good with Andy. She's back on our Bravo screens. This is now her entry back onto the show. But that rumor came out, and then he denounced it and said that's not happening. Actually, he said something along the lines of, we have the cast, and this is who they are. And I'm like, okay. So what did they do next season? Be more fucking humble. I don't know if Kelly. I don't think I'll ever like Kelly. I didn't like her first season. I definitely didn't like her this season. I don't think I would like her next season. I just don't. She's just not my kind of housewife, and that's fine. Shamia has good housewifery skills, and so I think if she just comes in a little more humble,
yeah. I want to see if she has a son. I'm curious to see that about Shamia.
I mean, and that's compelling for her family dynamic. The tough part is, at least with that little posse, there's a part of me that could see, like, okay, so she's just basically, I can see her and Portia are not happening. I think they can learn how to coexist. I can see that. And then I could see her being friends with, she's pretty cool with Phaedra. I can see her reestablishing a relationship with Drew and Angela. I could see her being part of the fun group with Kay and all that. That leaves Kelly behind, though. Because I don't think Kelly has any interest or would. I think she will always go toe-to-toe with Portia for whatever reason.
And
Angela, another one, calling her Bigfoot and all that.
That was funny, though.
I'm confused of her relationship with Phaedra after this reunion. Because that was a whole other thing that when they got into all that about the guy.
That was so weird. She was like, Phaedra, as my friend, I thought you would tell me. I'm your attorney. I'm not your friend. Just because we recorded together.
Okay, thank you. That's what I thought too. Because I was confused. I mean,
I've been to your house. We ate, and I was like, they didn't show us any of that. So,
well, you're the attorney. Listen, you're an attorney. You went to law school. You know all this kind of stuff, and I don't. But I have common sense. And I mean, I guess we can pivot into that. When they were talking about Portia and Kelly, all this stuff, like her sleeping with a married man, all that. And we saw basically when they talked about it on the one Sprinter bus early in the season, that Phaedra has some sort of connection to whomever this gentleman is. And we have since learned it's a client of his. I thought Phaedra made the perfect point of like, I am a member of the bar. He's a client. I can't talk about any of this shit. And she's trying to, and then I revert back to Kelly because I'm like, just as you are, I'm like, wouldn't Phaedra co-sign really anything? She's just saying in the Sprinter bus, she was just trying to say that she knew him or knew who she's referring to or something, but she never said anything. What's the word I'm looking for? She didn't give any details. She didn't give her opinion. She didn't say anything. So I'm like, she's actually treating, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like that she's treating them the same way. She's like, he's my client, you're my client. I
You
didn't
wouldn't want me to
co-sign.
tell all your business.
Exactly. I'm like, what are you talking about? So simply because that you're also on the show with her and a friend, you think that she's somehow that makes her be able to say even more than she's saying right now. No, he's a client. What are you talking about? Just like you are. Her argument didn't make sense to me. I didn't know what her argument was with Phaedra. I'm like, what did you want her to say?
I didn't either. And I don't remember. Is Phaedra helping her with her business or her divorce?
Divorce.
Well, then if it's family law, she really can't say nothing. For all she knows, this person is getting separated or adopting a kid or what. You know what I mean? Like, she can't say anything. So I think Kelly is very entertaining.
No.
Because I get to watch
You're
it on
very
TV.
nice.
It's not me. If it was me, if I was there on those couches, I would be livid. But to watch it on TV, I think Kelly is the opposite of Drew. Drew on the fun couch is the Kelly on this couch. And so I don't know if she's a compelling housewife, but I do think she's entertaining to watch.
You know what she is, and Portia has kind of said this throughout the season, and she said it again at the reunion. You know what Kelly is? She's a fan of the show. And I think what we're seeing, in my professional opinion,
As a housewife historian.
Listen, is a lady who has watched this show, read Portia's book, knows the history of the show. Now she's somehow got cast onto the show. And she's pulling out these things that, to me, are perceived as someone that's A, trying too hard for sure, and B, they're not landing, C, they don't make sense. And it's like you're trying so hard to have either moments or you're trying to be compelling instead of just being compelling. But these, like, again, that's an argument she's having with Phaedra. I'm not a lawyer, but none of it makes sense to me. Like, whatever her point she's trying to make. The lady's telling you, I'm at the bar. I can't say his shit. I have not said your shit. She didn't say, Phaedra never came out and said, okay, yeah, she did fuck him. She didn't say anything. I mean, correct me if she did, I don't remember that. But she's not saying anything on either side. So I'm like, What is your fucking argument? Just because you have lunch with her? Like, give me a fucking break. She probably has lunch with the other guy too and like writes it off on her expenses or something. Like, fuck off.
True. I was as confused as I was when it first started. And I need Portia to stop saying, I'm the proof. Because, ma'am, unless you walked down the hotel room hallway and saw him come out the room and Kelly waved at you, you're not the proof. Just because someone texts. Because I think it's as fluid as Angela saying, Shamia slept with George.
Oh, my God.
Now, actually, that's not true. Because Angela has more proof. That joke, that was a terrible joke. Terrible.
Agreed.
And I know Angela's not the only person who's going around saying that. Because if you said that on a microphone and there were 5 people there, 5 people are talking about it. So I love seeing the screenshot between Shamia and Ashley, George's wife. Mm-hmm. To me, it read like they were extra guilty. Because she was like, what do we need to do? And I'm like, are you swingers? What? And then they just go to Angela's lying. And I was like, wait a second.
It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. I'm not saying, I'm
an adult. You can delete messages in a chain and then they'll all show as if they were fine. So I was like, no.
I don't know. I don't know who she fucks, if she's fucking anyone other than her. I don't know. And I honestly, I really don't care. The reason why we keep talking about it is because of Shamia's reaction. And her reaction is an act of guilt, if you ask me. But I don't know, so, like, whatever. I'll tell you what, though, going back to, Portia and Kelly, I'm a massive Portia fan. She's one of my favorite housewives of all time. Love her. Stan her all day long. But I gotta tell you, the lie detector thing, I'm just like... for one, if I have to see one more lie detector on a housewife show, I'm going to literally jump off a building. That's number one.
Do they do it often?
Yeah. Orange County did a thing last season with it. They done it in Beverly Hills. And here's the thing. What I've come to learn about lie detector tests, and I mean, Phaedra kind of did say a little bit of it,
That's
right?
true.
Like whether it's admissible in court or not.
Mm-hmm.
And she was basically like, you can manipulate those things. It's actually, I don't know if it's easy. I don't know, like, what, when you say it's, I don't know if you even say it's easy, but it's certainly possible. And as a pedestrian on the street, I know that. But what it's proven oftentimes is like, this is maybe my personal opinion, unless like the military or the fucking FBI are performing it, the people like out in the streets doing this, I'm like, I don't know what credentials you have and what machinery that you have, access to that just has an average civilian doing these things. I don't hold much weight into it. And that's nothing against porn. So when she did that, I was like, no, it just makes it look like a joke for my, it just,
does.
I can't take this seriously. I love you so much and I believe you actually. I don't take this seriously at all.
But the ironic thing was when she said it, Kelly goes bring it on like she was
I
ready
know.
to take the test.
Of course she did. It's a moment.
It made more sense. Now, to take it back to Salt Lake City, when Meredith brought out the drug test, I'm hoping Portia did the lie detector test on her own so that she's not trying to compel Kelly to want to do it. But ma'am, them finding out that you didn't lie still does not tell us whether or not Kelly slept with him.
I know. It's like, I didn't need any of it.
You probably didn't lie about it.
I didn't need any of it.
I didn't either, but for the way lie detector tests used to be, they check all of your vitals. So like if I say, I hope you enjoyed your peanut butter crackers, and you're like, I did, and your mind is like, I didn't eat peanut butter crackers, I just ate rice trail mix. Your blood is going, you got a little sweat. They're checking all of that because if you tell the truth, you're just like, yep, it was good, and you stop thinking about it. So that's how you can like manipulate it because you know what I mean. So it was
there
funny.
You go.
It was really funny. It was cute to see Portia and Drew in her fitting room, like as they were getting their checkups or not checkups, but like,
or like their makeup or whatever. Yeah.
But I thought it was so funny. I was like, girl, this still does not prove anything.
No, Portia, no. And like, Portia, you know this. You're so good at this. You know, that will never, will not ever hold weight on these shows. Not here. I'm like, again, unless the CIA or the FBI are coming to do it, it holds no weight. I do not care. Because I'm like, how does someone just have that kind of equipment or software? Like, come on. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm talking about whatever the thing is. I'm going to trust professionals. I don't think the professionals are just doing this for Housewives. I'm sorry. I'm like, they're probably doing bigger or they probably, oh my God. I just had
bigger
a stroke.
Fish to fry.
Thank you. They're trying to do this on murderers and like criminals. They're not like, oh, well, we have to do the Real Housewives of Atlanta this weekend. Like, so I'm like,
plus, they're like, "Oh, Portia just paid me to give her a lie detector."
Exactly. I mean, you can fudge it up in any kind of way. I'll tell you.
So, what's our last thing?
Well, I'll tell you what is my favorite thing of the whole.
What?
Cynthia's song.
Listen, that song is a bop.
That is a bop. I already pre-saved it on my phone.
Yes.
I pre-saved it on my phone. I love it.
I was looking it up while we were there. I was like, yeah, it was good.
Someone posted the scene. He's a Bravo guy. Like he has all his content is Bravo. I love him. His name is Gibson. I can't. I'm blanking on his last name. He lives in New York City. He has a podcast too. I think
What's his account?
His podcast is called Gabbing with Gib.
Okay.
He's so. I think he's so. I saw him at BravoCon a few years ago. I was like, oh my God, he's so hot. And I think he's really funny and blah blah blah. So he posted the clip, right? I commented on it, and I really felt this way. I was like, oh, this was so healing. Because here's what's fun about Real Housewives of Atlanta. They all just like went ham, and they all had a great time. And that's the good thing about Atlanta that traditionally always happens is that they can literally drag each other to hell. And as what Portia ended with on the show of like, where are they going to go from here? And she said to hell. But they can still, like, for the most part, like, support each other. And that song, oh, it was so good. I was like,
It
I
was
want to
so
be in a
good.
club. I'm like, I'm gonna go to a club. I want to
Juicy
dance to
peach,
this.
red peach.
But
Yeah,
I
it was
love that.
great.
I love her iconic line. So now, what else is going on? Like, I love.
Hmm.
I was like, oh my god, this is so iconic. I
It
love
was
it.
really good. It was, and I love that she said there are no wedding bells ringing. We are just happy together,
She's a vibe, and I love it. I
and that's all it
love
needs to
her,
be.
and she
I really
looked
like this
great.
part.
I loved
If
her
you had to
outfit.
choose part two versus part one, which one is your favorite?
Neither.
Really?
I mean, no. I mean, I don't know if I.
You watched part one 4 times. You're not gonna watch part two 4 times?
I probably will because because I've only watched it once. And here's the thing: because I'm gonna watch it again, and probably, unfortunately for me, because I only watched it once, and now we're recording. Because there's probably gonna be things now I'm gonna rewatch. Now I'm like, okay, let me like get hyper
Yeah.
fixated on that. I don't think much will change in my opinions though. So I'll definitely watch it again. Like, I'll always watch reunions for the most part, like over and over again, because they're my favorite part, especially now on Peacock when they're extended and uncensored. But
That's so
I mean,
funny.
maybe part one. Well, I don't know because I
Yeah.
loved Cynthia's song. That was such a moment.
Well, for so long, I mean, even when I watched Atlanta, never watched the reunions. I've
I don't
only
know how
watched
that's possible. Like
5 reunions with you. I've never watched them. But
the
I was thinking
reunion
this,
is the
I
best
need
part of the
to
season.
contact Phaedra so that she can call Andy. Because I was like, super flex. And Andy said she has my number. I was
You know, here's the thing. I love, and he did that with Phaedra, and he also did that with Portia at
like,
when they were talking about. This was actually funny when they brought out Cynthia. Or I'm sorry, no, this is not when they brought out Cynthia. When they were saying they're talking about when he asked Pinky like, okay, so you used to date women, and she's like, I munched on carpet a time or two, and I'm like, how much pussy have you eaten? Like, damn. And I
please don't
love.
say it like that. Adults get waxed nowadays. I was like, much on carpet.
She said it, not me. But what I thought was really endearing and cute, and I loved was when Portia was like, "Well, I'm the U-Haul lesbian," and I'm like, "I love you." But he said to her, she's like, "Well, this woman right here will tell you I love you." Like I forgot how he said, like on day 2 or something. Like my point being, I love when he. It is a flex when Andy can tell, like, vouch for you, like how he did for Phaedra, he does for Portia. Like, I hope the other girls take that as like, listen, bitch, this is no joke. That means they have cred here. You don't. You need to earn it. So like all your like little lies and little gimmicks ain't gonna work around here.
No, but the thing is, I want to see Shamia and I mean honestly all of them, but I want to see them watching the show after they stop recording. I need them to record that. I need them to have a camera in the living room and get their reactions because I need a camera on me getting my reaction as I watch that. I like the
Ooh.
reunion, but I want like a behind the scenes of you first seeing it. Reunion
Oh, you're
chat.
talking about like me.
No, like the cast.
Oh, okay, that's what I
want
thought you said. Okay, I was like,
well,
wait,
okay,
are
so
you
like
talking about me or the cat?
no, okay, so if I'm on the show and we
Mm-hmm.
record for 8 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
afterwards I'm on social media, so I'm seeing this stuff come out. But like I want a camera on them watching it. I want a camera on Gerald walking in the room like, who'd you sleep with in the NFL? Who'd you sleep with in the NBA? Like I need like you know what I'm saying? I need more.
Mm-hmm.
I want the reunion. We have to wait so long for it. I want to know, like, Pinky, how did you feel when you saw that it was Kelly that started this whole thing? How
Mm-hmm.
did you feel? Like, that's what I want. Because by now, they've had so much time to, like, work
Yeah,
out an answer.
that is true. That's the hard part about like Housewives is like even confessionals. They start filming confessionals. I mean, I've heard different things, but basically, like while they're still shooting the actual season, so they start, and then those still linger to when they're stopped filming, right? Like for months. And it's funny because I forgot who was talking about like the art of the confessional. I forgot which housewife, but because I've always wondered this, I'm like, I haven't heard them talk in depth about this. But when you're doing a confessional, depending on what scene and where they're whatever the questions the producer behind the camera is asking you for the confessional, and you're in that chair, you might have to put on an act, for so to speak. So, for example, say me and you're on a show and we're good. Now I do my confessionals 3 months down the road, and at that point, me and you are no longer friends because something happened between those 3 months filming, right? But I'm doing confessional that is from that have to ask, or I'm being asked questions from 3 months ago. So I have to pretend like, you know, when they say like, oh my God, well, you know, me and Kyla, you know, we always party it up. Even though that present day when I'm filming at confessional, I might hate your guts because something has changed. Like that is so tough. I can imagine like I wear my emotions so hard on my sleeve that if I had to like retroactively like answer questions about scenes and people that I was getting along with, but then in the present moment don't, but I have to act because I'm trying to put together the story. I don't know if I can do that. That's kind of a real art that I think not a lot of people quite understand that they have to do sometimes. Not all the time, because it depends on the relationship and what they're talking about. But, and maybe even vice versa. Maybe you're friends with a person, but like 3 months ago you hated their guts, and so but now you have to like talk shit about them to some extent on these confessionals, and it's like, oh fuck, we're in a good place now. So now that might like drudge up, you know, some unresolved feelings, and then you go into the reunion.
And
You
I
know?
wonder how much of the confessionals they don't even use because they can't ask such pointed questions that you think you know where they're going. They probably ask a lot and then they choose which ones to use.
That they piece things together at times of like there could be a scene and you go to the confessional and you can sometimes spot it to a certain extent when their reply is like vague. So say we're in a scene, blah blah blah, and we're fighting, and I'm doing a confessional. The producer may ask me a question, right, and then they hit play, let's say on the camera, and I just say something kind of vague like, well, I don't know, they have an ugly shirt on or something like, and it might not even be about you, but they're going to use that clip maybe for another scene, but it's vague enough that, you know, since I didn't use a name maybe, or maybe they even cut it out, who knows. So they can manipulate probably, they have, like Housewives have said that they've manipulated confessionals where it's like, okay, I did say that in my confessional, it wasn't about you, but they played it during an interaction with you to make it seem as if I said that about you and I didn't. So I'm like, there are so many logistics here that are at play that those are so
I gotta
disgusting.
finish my peanut butter crackers. Is this vegan?
Probably not. Probably has dairy in it.
Okay. There's honey on the grams. I can't.
Oh yeah,
No
honey is
animal
not
product.
vegan. Yep. Well, there you go. All right, bye.